Have you ever felt like everything you've been through, the heartache, the betrayal, the struggle, was pointless, like you were broken beyond repair? This powerful video will shift your perspective and remind you that your pain has a purpose. You're not who you were yesterday. You've been refined and rebuilt, and now you're walking into a future more amazing than you could ever imagine. Stay with us to see how the storms you've faced have prepared you for something greater. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the best is yet to come. Don't miss out on this transformation. Watch now. Before we start, I'd appreciate your support. If you liked the video, please subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated on future lessons from God. You were tested like gold, subjected to trials of unimaginable magnitude. Life, as you have realized, has never been about walking down paths of ease, where the sun always shines and the breeze is gentle. No, life's true nature is found in the crucible of difficulty, in the valleys where shadows loom large, where every step feels uncertain, and where hope is hard to hold on to. It is in these valleys, in the moments of despair, where God refines us into something stronger than we could ever imagine. For some of you, your storm was so fierce it seemed like it might consume every ounce of light left inside you. You found yourself trapped in the life of a narcissist, a person whose very existence was built on manipulation, draining your energy and wearing down your spirit. They took your kindness, twisted it, and turned it into a weapon. Slowly, you began to question everything about yourself. Was your love not enough? Was your heart not pure enough? At first, you thought it was love. You thought it was fate. You convinced yourself that this was meant to be, that somehow this was the connection that would fulfill you. But what you couldn't see in the fog of confusion is that you weren't placed there by accident. God doesn't make mistakes. No, He didn't bring you into their life to be torn apart or to drown in their darkness. He placed you there because He was preparing you. He was testing you. He was refining you like gold in the fire. Think about it. Gold doesn't just appear in its purest form. It is hidden deep in the earth, buried under dirt and debris. To get to its brilliance, to make it shine, it has to be purified, and then subjected to intense heat that strips away all that is not precious. And you, my friend, have been undergoing that very process. The toxic relationship, the lies, the manipulation, the pain. They weren't sent to destroy you. No, they were sent to shape you, to mold you into the person you are destined to become. God doesn't put His strongest warriors through easy battles. He places them in situations where their faith will be stretched, their patience tested, and their resilience forged. Each tear you shed, every sleepless night filled with fear and doubt, each moment of feeling lost, these were not signs of weakness, but moments in the fire that would shape your strength. God's purpose was never to harm you. Instead, He was peeling away the parts of you that no longer served His purpose, removing your insecurity, your need for validation, your willingness to settle for anything less than what He had promised you. When you walked into that storm, you were one person, but when you walked out, you were someone entirely different. You are stronger, you are wiser, you are more capable than ever before. The person you were before that storm was filled with uncertainty, but the person you are now is filled with strength, wisdom, and understanding that can only come from enduring the fire of hardship. That narcissist, the one who tried to control you, manipulate you, and break your spirit, they thought they had the upper hand. They thought they were the ones in control, pulling the strings of your life, dictating your worth. But what they didn't know, what they couldn't see, is that God was using them as a tool for your growth. Every attempt they made to break you down, to wear you out, only served to build you up. Every moment they tried to diminish your worth, to twist your perception of yourself, only led you to discover your true value. They thought they were breaking you, but what they were doing was sharpening you, preparing you for something far greater than they could ever understand. They thought you would never leave, that you would remain trapped in their web of lies and manipulation. But you didn't stay. You broke free, and in doing so, you emerged not just unscathed, but stronger than you could ever imagine. Don't ever look back at that chapter of your life and think of it as wasted time. That was not wasted, no. That was your training ground, your preparation. God was molding you into the person He knew you needed to be for what was coming next. You are not who you were before, and that is a beautiful thing. You no longer carry the burden of regret, but instead, you walk in the victory that was born through your struggle. What was meant to break you only made you shine brighter. You are no longer fragile, no longer unsure of who you are or what you're worth. You are a living testimony to the strength that comes from perseverance, the beauty that emerges after the storm. Now you stand taller, stronger, wiser. You walk with a sense of purpose and peace that comes from knowing that what God allowed was not meant to harm you, but to refine you. Now you carry the lessons, but not the scars. The scars are no longer marks of pain, but symbols of resilience. Now you walk in victory, knowing that God used every bit of your struggle to prepare you for something greater. The fire didn't burn you. It purified you, and now you shine with a brilliance that was born through the testing. If you believe that God was refining you, not breaking you, and that all of the hardships you've endured were part of your divine purpose, comment below with, "I am stronger than ever." Let it be known that you are not the same person who walked into that storm. You are transformed, renewed, and ready for the future that awaits you. In the beginning, when you encountered the narcissist, you may have believed they were meant to be in your life for some grand reason. And in a way, you were right. But it wasn't for the reason you thought. You weren't placed in their life to be loved, cherished, or to build a future with them. No, you were placed there to be the lesson, the revelation they never expected. You were never the victim in this story. You were the one who taught them the truth about love, self-worth, and boundaries. Many people go through life never truly understanding what real love looks like. They are trapped in their selfishness, in cycles of manipulation, control, and deceit. They cannot see beyond their desires because they are blinded by their darkness. And then you walked in. You walked into their world with your pure heart, your compassion, your capacity to forgive, and your ability to love without expectation. You were different from anyone they had ever known. You didn't play their games. You didn't give in to their manipulation. Instead, you showed them something they had never seen before. True, unconditional love. A love that didn't demand anything in return. A love that was meant to heal, not to hurt. And that, my friend, was the greatest lesson of all. You didn't just survive the storm, you became the storm. You became the change they never expected. And in doing so, you discovered something so much more important than their approval, your strength, your worth, and your power to walk away and thrive. The narcissists thought they could break you, but all they did was help you uncover the gold that was hidden deep within, and now you shine brighter than ever before. What was meant to destroy you, it only made you stronger. What was meant to break you, it only purified you. What was meant to bury you, it only uncovered your brilliance. And now, with each step you take, you walk in the victory that is rightfully yours. They will never understand the depths of what they lost, no matter how many years pass. No matter how many faces they replace you with, they will never find someone who truly understands them and who will show them the same grace, patience, and love you gave. They will search in vain, endlessly trying to find a reflection of your heart. But it's impossible to replace what you were. What they never realized, though, is that they weren't losing someone. They were losing the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to heal. They were losing the chance to experience real, authentic love, the kind of love that expects nothing in return, that is forgiving, patient, and without conditions. But you, my friend, you were a gift. You were an offering, one that they couldn't appreciate because they were too consumed with themselves, too blind to see the value of what stood before them. And as much as it may have hurt to realize that, you now see it for what it truly was. It was never about you being inadequate or unworthy. It was never about you needing to change. The truth is, you were always exactly what they needed, but they were too damaged, too broken, and too trapped in their delusions to ever see it. They used their power over you, and in doing so, they blinded themselves to the love you were offering. They were too lost in their world of manipulation, control, and ego to recognize that you were offering them a chance at redemption, at healing, at something they could never truly understand until it was gone. And here you are, standing in your strength, standing in your truth, standing in your power. You were tested in ways that broke you, yes, but in breaking you, you were reshaped. God didn't break you, He made you stronger. Each tear you shed was a testament to your resilience. Every moment of doubt, every painful second of wondering if you would survive it, was a step toward the person you are today. Your spirit, your faith, your strength, those things were built through the fires of your battles. They didn't destroy you. They transformed you. You are now unrecognizable to the person who walked into that relationship, the person who let their insecurities dictate their choices, the person who believed that love had to be earned or fought for. You don't need anyone's validation anymore. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're worthy, because you know it now. You've learnt the painful truth that not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. And that's okay. The people who were meant for you will not drain you. They will not manipulate you. They will not gaslight you. They will uplift you, challenge you, support you in your growth. And most importantly, they will love you for who you are. The narcissist's plan was always to keep you trapped in their world of confusion and manipulation. They wanted you to believe that their version of love was the only kind that mattered, the only kind that was worth chasing. They wanted you to doubt your worth, to question your reality, to believe that you would never be good enough for anything better. But you saw through it. Eventually, the fog lifted. You began to see clearly, and when you did, you walked away. And that was their greatest defeat. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. What they failed to realize, and what you now know, is that you are not their victim. You were never meant to be. You are not the person who needs fixing. You were always the one who would teach them the hardest lesson of all, that true love cannot be manipulated. It cannot be controlled. It cannot be twisted into something toxic and selfish. It can only be received, appreciated, and reciprocated. And so, in your absence, they will continue their cycle of searching, of trying to find what they once had but could never truly hold. They will move from person to person, trying to find someone who will fill the void they've created. But no one will ever measure up to you. No one will ever love them the way you did. And that is something they will have to live with for the rest of their lives. And that, in itself, is the sweetest form of justice. Because here's the thing, as much as they tried to tear you down, as much as they tried to erase your value and make you feel like you were nothing, you stand here today, stronger than you've ever been, clearer than ever before. You know who you are, you know what you're worth. You know that love doesn't come with strings attached, and it doesn't require constant proving. It's given freely and without expectation. When you walked away, you took back your power. You reclaimed your sense of self, your peace, and your freedom. You stopped giving energy to someone who had nothing left to give. You stopped bending yourself into pretzel-like shapes to fit into their world. You chose to walk in the light of your truth, and that was the moment the illusion of their power crumbled. They can no longer control you. They can no longer make you doubt yourself. You are free, and in your freedom, you found peace, you found clarity, you found the strength to stand tall, to walk away from what was never meant for you, and to embrace the future that's waiting for you. You are no longer trapped in their games, their lies, or their manipulations. You are walking your path now, and it's a path filled with possibility, with healing, and with the kind of love that you truly deserve. They will never understand your worth, but that's okay, because you do. You've learned what it means to love yourself first, to put your own needs before the toxic desires of others. You've learned that love isn't about bending yourself to fit someone else's broken version of it. It's about finding someone who accepts you, loves you, and values you for exactly who you are. So take a deep breath and hold your head up high. The battle is over. You are the one who walked away victorious. You are the one who learned the hardest lesson and grew stronger in the process. And as you continue to walk forward, just know that you have already won. You have already claimed your victory. You are free. You are whole. And no one, no narcissist, no manipulator, no toxic person can ever take that away from you again. And you stand here today not as the same person who once trembled in the shadow of uncertainty, but as someone who has been forged through fire and risen above it all. You didn't lose anything, not a single part of you. What you gained was priceless. You gained clarity and a razor-sharp understanding of who you are and what you're worth. You gained wisdom and profound knowledge that only comes through trial and struggle. You gained freedom. Freedom from the chains that once bound your spirit. Freedom from the weight of self-doubt and the lies that tried to keep you small. You walked away, and in that moment, in that painful yet empowering choice, you won. That, my dear, is victory in its purest form. The journey you've traveled was not in vain. Not a single step you took was wasted. It was not meaningless. It was the preparation your soul needed, the divine molding of your spirit for something far greater than you ever imagined. God has something extraordinary ahead for you, something so magnificent that you could never have received it while you were still holding on to the things that kept you bound. He needed you to see yourself the way He has always seen you, strong, chosen, worthy, and victorious. His mind was full of visions for your future, and now you shine like gold, unshaken and unbreakable, having undergone 6 powerful transformations. You are no longer who you once were. You are someone new, someone reborn, someone who has emerged from the flames of their past with a renewed spirit and purpose. Pause for a moment. Look at yourself, not through the eyes of who you were, but with the clarity and understanding of who you've become. The person you were when you walked into that storm no longer exists. That version of you, who tolerated lies, ignored the red flags, and made excuses for people who never intended to protect your heart, she's gone. She was never meant to last. She was merely a stepping stone, a lesson in becoming the person you are today. There was a time when their words held so much power over you, when their approval was the very thing that dictated your peace, your worth, and your happiness. You lived for their affection, a love that was given and taken as it pleased them, leaving you grasping for something that was never truly there. But that time has passed. It's over. You do not walk the same way you did before. You do not think the same. You do not love the same, and most importantly, you do not let anyone treat you the same. The fire that was meant to break you, to tear you down, has instead purified you. It burned away the parts of you that no longer served your highest good, leaving behind only the strongest and most resilient version of yourself. When you were in the depths of that storm, all you could feel was loss. It felt like the universe itself was crumbling beneath you, shaking the very foundation of who you believed you were. Rejection, betrayal, abandonment, they were the cruel whispers that filled your nights. You questioned your worth, wondering if you were the problem. You wondered if you weren't good enough, if you hadn't given enough, if maybe, just maybe, you had been a little too much to handle. You convinced yourself that if only you had been more patient, more forgiving, more accommodating, maybe then they would have loved you the way you deserved. But let me remind you of this truth today. God never intended for you to stay in that place. He never wanted you to shrink yourself down, to mold into something smaller just to fit into a space that was never meant to hold you. He never meant for you to keep giving, to keep pouring into a well that would never, could never satisfy your soul. So he allowed the breaking, he allowed the storm, he allowed the fire, not to destroy you, but to refine you, to strip away all the parts of you that were holding on to the past, holding on to things that kept you from your true potential. Now you walk differently. You walk with a confidence that comes from knowing who you are. You walk without fear, without desperation, without that aching need to be chosen. Now you walk with strength, with clarity, with a freedom that can't be taken from you. You no longer cling to relationships out of loneliness. You no longer entertain people who drain your spirit, who try to diminish your light. You no longer settle for anything less than the love and respect you deserve. Your heart, once so eager to prove its worth, now stands firm in the knowledge that you have always been valuable. Your love, once freely given to those who only knew how to take, is now guarded with wisdom, discernment, and an unwavering belief in your worth. Your spirit, once confused and uncertain, now walks in clarity, power, and freedom. And the narcissist? They don't recognize you anymore because the version of you they once controlled no longer exists. The person who tolerated their deception, who excused their manipulation, who believed their empty words over their repeated actions, that person is gone. They thought they were breaking you, thought they were tearing you apart. But what they failed to see was that everything they did was shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. They thought they were stealing your power, but in reality they were simply pushing you into your purpose. Now you walk in a strength they will never understand. You are no longer the person who begs to be chosen. You are no longer the person who justifies mistreatment. You are the person who walks away when God says it's time. And that is true transformation. That is what strength looks like. There was a time when you thought you had lost everything. You sat in silence, replaying the past over and over again, questioning if you had wasted years of your life on someone who never truly saw you, never truly appreciated you. The enemy whispered lies into your ears, convincing you that all that love, all that sacrifice, all that time was for nothing. But hear me today. Your past was not wasted. Your pain was not pointless. Your journey was not in vain. Every tear, every heartache, every moment of confusion was preparation. It was all shaping you, molding you, and making you into the powerful, resilient, and victorious person you are today. And your story is just beginning. God never allows pain without purpose. Every tear you've shed, every sleepless night you've endured, every moment of crippling self-doubt, it all had a divine purpose, shaping you for what is yet to come. Think of a soldier preparing for battle. Do they step onto the battlefield untrained? Do they face the enemy without undergoing countless hours of preparation? Not. They go through relentless drills. They are tested to their limits, broken down, and built back up stronger, so that when the time arrives, they are more than ready. And this is exactly what God has been doing in your life. He has been training you. He has been strengthening you. He has been preparing you, molding you for the future He has already written for you. A future so beautiful, so full of promise, that you couldn't have stepped into it before you were ready. The enemy tried to convince you that the best days of your life were behind you, that because of the pain you've endured, you would never love the same again, that you would always carry the scars of what was lost, and that you would never fully heal. But let me remind you, the devil is a liar. Your best days are not behind you, they are ahead of you. The love you deserve, the love that is kind, real, and full of purpose, is on its way. The opportunities you've prayed for, the dreams you've held close to your heart, they are on the horizon, just waiting for you to step into them. The life that God has ordained for you, the life He's prepared for you, is there, just waiting for you to claim it. And the reason you're ready for it now is because of everything you've been through, everything you've survived, everything that has strengthened you and made you whole. You had to walk through that fire so you could emerge refined. You had to experience counterfeit love so that you would never again settle for anything less than real, pure, unconditional love. You had to endure manipulation and deceit so you could finally see with clear eyes to never allow anyone to play with your mind or your heart again. You had to lose them, not because you weren't worthy of love, but because God's plan for you was never about keeping you trapped in a cycle of pain. His plan was never to let you remain in a place that couldn't serve your purpose. No, He let you go through that season so that you could finally realize your worth, the immense value He placed inside of you. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And now you walk differently. You no longer chase after approval. You no longer beg to be chosen. You no longer tolerate what drains your soul. Now you stand firm in the knowledge of who you are. You know your worth, and because of that, you will never again settle for less than what God has promised you. The enemy used that narcissist, that toxic influence, in an attempt to destroy you, but instead God used them to transform you. He used them to show you what you will never ever accept again. He used them to sharpen your discernment, strengthen your spirit, and break the chains of unhealthy patterns that you didn't even realize you were bound to. And now you walk with authority. You don't step into your future as someone broken or abandoned. No, you step forward as someone who has been rebuilt, renewed, and made whole by the very hands of God. Your past does not define you. It didn't break you. It made you stronger. It didn't scar you permanently. It refined you, shaped you, and prepared you for the greatness that is unfolding before you. So do not look back with regret. Do not allow the enemy to make you believe that your past holds power over your future. Your past was the training ground, the preparation for the victory ahead. Walk forward with boldness. Walk forward with expectation. Walk forward knowing that the life God has for you is infinitely greater than anything you've left behind. Your story is not ending. No, my friend, it is just beginning. And the best is yet to come. There comes a pivotal moment in life when everything shifts, when you stop viewing your past as a weight dragging you down and instead start seeing it for what it truly is, a blessing. A moment when the heartbreak, the betrayal, the sleepless nights, all of it suddenly makes sense. They weren't meant to break you. They were meant to awaken something deep within you. You realize now, as you reflect on the storm you've weathered, that God never wastes pain. He never allows His children to suffer without purpose. And even when you were in the midst of the chaos, questioning why he allowed you to endure such trials, you see it now. You were not abandoned. You were being elevated. You were not forgotten. You were being refined. Every tear, every moment of doubt, every instance of anguish. Those were not signs of defeat. No, they were all part of a process, a sacred refining that was preparing you for something greater. The enemy tried to tell you that you were broken, that you were beyond repair, that you had lost too much and suffered too long to ever be whole again. But today, hear this truth. You are not broken. You are rebuilt. You are not fractured. You are restored. And you are stronger than ever before. The narcissist, the toxic influence in your life, thought they had the final say. They believed they could shatter you, leave you empty and drained, that they could destroy your spirit. But they underestimated something far more powerful than they could have ever imagined. They underestimated the God within you, because when the enemy thought he had won, when he thought you were too tired to continue, too broken to rise, God stepped in. God picked you up from the dust. He breathed new life into your spirit, reminding you of the strength, the power, and the beauty that have always resided within you. You are not weak. You are a warrior, a survivor who has been tested, forged in the fire, and has come out stronger on the other side. You are not defeated. You are victorious, standing tall, unbroken, and unapologetic in your strength. You are not forgotten. You are chosen and carefully crafted by the hands of God to fulfill a unique and powerful purpose. And now, as you stand on the precipice of this new chapter in your life, step forward. Walk boldly, walk confidently, and walk with faith. Walk with the unshakable belief that your best days are not behind you. They are ahead of you, waiting for you to step into them. As we wrap up, take a moment to reflect on everything we've shared today. What has resonated with you the most? What have you learned about your strength, resilience, and transformation? Maybe it's the realization that your past doesn't define you, it refines you. Or perhaps you've learned that the trials you've faced are shaping you into the person you were always meant to become. Whatever it is, I want to hear from you. Comment below with one thing you've learned today and how you plan to bring it into practice in your life. Let's inspire and encourage each other as we continue on our journeys. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a moment of inspiration. Keep moving forward. You are stronger than you know.